So wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Thanks, Jabba. And voiceover guy. He's got a name. Rob Stone, right? Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Pregame Show. I'm your host, Joe Spadoni, and for the next hour, we're going to talk about some stuff. A lot happened yesterday on the timeline. If you're on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. So, let me get this straight. Stephen Curry, multiple-time MVP, finals MVP, 4-time NBA champion, and top 10 player in the history of the league. Not ruling out a presidential run in his future. Check. Aaron Rodgers potentially could be running for vice president under the independent party platform with RFK Jr. Check. And, well, the Clippers, they stay hurting. Kawhi Leonard leaving the game second quarter. And I know one of those things is not like the other. That's a song, right? But those first two really, good God. Specifically the Aaron Rodgers one. The names that were getting thrown out yesterday, I got to be honest, it made me happy. And if there's one thing that social media and Twitter and X and Instagram, everything was built for, it was memes, and it was everyone piling on Aaron Rodgers, a.k.a. Throw Rogan, is what they're calling him. It's great. I love that platform still. I do. I know Elon's doing his best to try to make it not that way with all the porn bots and stuff like that, but there's moments of hope on there still. 888-957-9570. You can start. And maybe that's just opening too much can of worms, Sammy. I don't know if we want to do that and have a dumpster fire heading into the morning roast. What athlete do you want to run for president this year? Because it seems no one wants these two guys. We're going Aaron Rodgers. Steph, maybe you could retire early if that means you're our president this year. Is it too late? Get my vote. I'll tell you that. I know nothing about his political stances either.
Both of them, honestly, are better than what we have right now. So
honestly, he can go up in the debates, bring a hoop with him, hit a three-pointer in Donald and Joe's face, and that's enough for me.
I think he just has to go to the debate. I don't think the other two will even make it.
Oh, God. What was Darren Rovell, November in 2016? I feel sorry for our country, but this is tremendous content. That's what it is right now for me. Always be contenting, ABC, baby.
I did like one I saw was Aaron Rodgers is questionable for week 9 with the reason election.
Oh, man. Well, he's been immunized. We all know that, right?
I think Zach Wilson, third in line for the presidency if he wins.
Oh, God. Third in line? Who's number 2?
Well, I guess if Rodgers is
that's
number
true.
2.
No, that's true. Yeah. He'd be the number 2 behind him. It is funny. The New York Jets would be under the independent party. The official party of the New York Jets is one that's never going to win the big one. You're never going to. The jokes write themselves. Oh, man. No, I won't do the whole show on that, but I had to start off. What is going on in this country? I don't know. I can't even go inside a Taco Bell anymore. It's drive-through only, which, I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever even been inside a Taco Bell, so that was standing. But my God. Thanks, Joe. All right, back to sports, I guess. Warriors taking on the Mavericks tonight. Coverage of that starts with Warriors Live, 4:30 right here on 95.7 The Game, your home for Golden State Warriors basketball. 5:30 tip. No Steph, but we got some news. Stephen Curry going to be reevaluated this Friday and has a real good chance to play this Saturday in a massive game at Crypto.com Arena against the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers, they're playing well. They're hot. They're also getting healthy. Gabe Vincent, they're going to be getting back, and potentially Jared Vanderbilt coming up here. So Warriors are all healthy right now with Steph coming back, hopefully, and the Lakers getting healthy. And that's kind of the name of the game heading into the playoffs right now. If the Warriors and Stephen Curry specifically can just stay healthy, I agree with what Steve Kerr said yesterday on with Mark Grandy and Dan Dibley on Willard and Dibbs. Take a listen to this.
I just feel like, the season it's long. It really is a marathon, and you're going to have stretches in both directions. During the season, things either go well or they don't. And I feel really strongly that our team is primed if we can, really stay healthy here down the stretch, get Steph back and stay healthy from there. I feel like we can make a really good run, and you never know what happens. If you do that, you could end up in a good spot and set you up for a good playoff run.
And what is a good playoff run? 888-957-9570. Again, I think we've talked about it here. Get to the Western Conference Finals. And then, you know what? If you're too exhausted at that point, I don't think anyone would fault you if you're going up against the Denver Nuggets, something like that. Or, is it getting to the second round? What qualifies as a good run for you, Warriors fan, at 888-957-9570? If you're just being realistic, do you still think they have a shot at winning a championship? I'll tell you this, and I mentioned it at the top, the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard getting hurt, that's another team that I'm not taking seriously without Kawhi Leonard to win a title or even get through the Western Conference. You already have Minnesota and what happened with Karl Anthony Towns. I think their title shot is shot. Anthony Edwards was a baller last night. They were down 20 points against Los Angeles, and they came all the way back and won that game. Again, Kawhi Leonard leaving in that second quarter and then missing the rest of that game. So we'll wait and see there. But what constitutes a good run? And do you agree with Steve Kerr saying they're primed for a good run? You got to get Stephen Curry healthy first. It's all on Steph. We just saw the sample size the last couple of games without him. And I know they're both against the same team in the Spurs, but no Steph, it was a struggle against one of the worst teams in the NBA. I know Victor was there for one game, and it wasn't his best performance. Shout out TJD. But nonetheless, this Warriors team right now has to split these next two, at the very least, if they want to still be in the conversation for that 7th and 8th spot. Kings got a massive win yesterday, and as we look at the Western Conference standings, and as the Warriors take on the Mavericks tonight and the Lakers Saturday, the Warriors are the 10th spot at 34-30. Got the Lakers still at the 9, 36-30. So Warriors a game back from that 9th spot, 2.5 back of the Mavericks. So that's why this one would be so huge tonight. If they were able to get it, be very difficult. No Steph. You're going up against Luka Doncic. Guy's got a bajillion triple-doubles. He is a problem. He is in the top of the charts when it comes to MVP voting. At the top, he's in one of them. He's probably not going to win it. Sam and I were going over there yesterday. I think he has the 3rd best odds. I think it's Jokic, number 1, and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, number 2, if I'm not mistaken. Jokic is going to win it. And it should have been, 4 consecutive, which is ridiculous. And yes, Jokic should have won it last year, not Joel Embiid. But because Kendrick Perkins and other media members cried about it, and those that cry still have votes for some ungodly reason, he got it. Not saying that Embiid wasn't amazing last year. He was. He is a great player. He is a Hall of Fame talent. He was amazing. Just thought Jokic was better. And he's better this year. And obviously Embiid's been hurt, but no one is on his level. He is a tier above everyone else in the game of basketball. But Luka Doncic, he's climbing up there, man. And I think he's exciting to watch. Some people don't. And you can let me know as well on the YouTube chat, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. We're streaming all day long. Good morning to all of you lovely people. Just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, whatever you're doing. I appreciate you choosing me. More from Steve Kerr talking about Pregame, TJD, and their contributions this season, which really have boosted this team's, I'm not going to say title chances right now because that seems a little strong when you're the 10th seed, but their chances to make a run, as Steve Kerr said. Here's what he had to say about the Rooks.
I didn't know anything about Brandon or Trace, so when the season started, we didn't plan on them contributing. Usually rookies, aren't ready for this, but both guys have proven to be ready. You see how advanced they are with their understanding of the game, their awareness, their knowledge of who they are as players and how they can make the team better. So those are rare qualities for rookies. And, so to see that, to see them coming along, to see, JK and how he's progressed, Moses too, it's really been fun just to see all the young guys start to blossom and help us win a lot of games.
It's really turned this season around. The young guys. And I know a lot of us, me included, have been hammering for these young guys to get included going back to last year, right? The whole Jordan Poole saga kind of shifted the entire season. The dark cloud, quote unquote, that was hanging over the organization after Draymond Green punched him in the face. That was too much to overcome. Get rid of Jordan Poole, bring in CP3, drafting Pregame out of Santa Clara, TJD out of Indiana, Kuminga, another year older, you got Moody. And these guys are playing, and they're playing valuable minutes. And they're contributing at a very high level. I mean, is Mike Dunleavy getting enough credit for the job he has done this year with this squad? He inherited a very tricky situation here. First off, Bob Myers, and Bob Myers, by the way, former president of basketball operations. 9 o'clock, Sammy? 9 o'clock? Bob Myers, 9 o'clock, 95.7 The Game, morning roast. Not going to want to miss it. Former president of basketball operations of the Golden State Warriors, turned ESPN NBA analyst and broadcaster. Doing a hell of a job with Mike Breen and co. So, and I would like to hear Bob Myers actually, if they end up, if he ends up doing some more broadcasting gigs, put him with Doris Burke. And Doris has been doing a great job. But Bob Myers, Doris, Mike Breen, I'm for that. I don't want JJ Redick or Richard Jefferson. I'm just going to keep it a buck. I'm not saying they're not good at what they do. I just, not for me. I'll just say that. Not for me. Bob, I like his insights into the agent field, the business of basketball, and also the guy played collegiately. He understands the nuances of the game. He's been a part of the greatest team of all time, one of them. So I would love for him to get future broadcasts. Maybe he's not ready for it. That's fine. Just throwing that out there. I'll let him know if he comes into studio today. Pending. We don't know. He's a busy man. I just saw Sam hit his knee back there. I hope you're okay, buddy. Saw the reaction. It's tough. But Bob Myers leaving this team, as I go off on a massive tangent about him coming onto the station, him being a good broadcaster, started with Mike Dunleavy Jr. and just being so damn impressed about the job he has done this year with this squad. He's not going to win Executive of the Year because that always goes to a team that, outshot their expectations and stuff like that. It's probably going to go to the Thunder and the Timberwolves. I don't know. One of those teams. But that still means we shouldn't give the credit to Dunleavy. Pregame, great find. Looks like, at the very least, a rotational player in the NBA going forward. TJD, still scratching the surface, but same thing. I mean, what more of a sample size do you need? Blocking Giannis, 3 times, whatever it was? And then yamming on Victor Wembanyama, two of the more physical, freaky dudes in the league. One of them's names is literally the Greek Freak. Yeah? So, hitting on both those guys. Jonathan Kuminga, and I'll give Steve Kerr credit more for that. And Mike Dunleavy's going to have a tricky part about the value of Kuminga. this offseason and paying him, and that's a no-brainer at this point. You're going to pay Jonathan Kuminga, and you're going to keep Jonathan Kuminga. Now, what's he going to do with Andrew Wiggins? I already said he should have been dealt, but maybe the market wasn't there. Maybe I would rip that Band-Aid off right now, but it is what it is. And we'll see if Wiggins, who a couple years ago did well against Luka Doncic in the playoffs, guarding him and then yamming on him as well, if he's up for the task. And we'll know that early, if he's engaged or not. Which is a crazy thing to say for a player of his potential and his caliber, but that's just what it is. You can't expect much from Andrew Wiggins at this point, which sucks, but that's why I've been so damn impressed with the rookies. Because you know what? More often than not, they've showed up. Yeah, they've looked like rookies in some games this year. That goes without saying. But they haven't been in the league a decade plus like an Andrew Wiggins. Jonathan Kuminga, impressive as hell. I mean, it felt like his days were numbered, or he wanted his days numbered here when him and his camp, they leaked out that they weren't very happy with Steve Kerr and his playing and all that. Fast forward to now, they wouldn't be here without Jonathan Kuminga. When I say here, 34-30 and just being a above average team. But there's a lot more work to be done. And can they get there? Can they even get to a playoff spot? That's the question now. And it starts tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. 888-957-9570. Steve Kerr says this team is primed for a good run. Do you agree with that? Pre-gamers. 209 from the Comcast Biz text line, 888-957-9570, caller text. I feel Steve thinks BP, Brandon Pajemski, could be like a Austin Reeves, but I don't know if he will. That's Dylan. Different player. I'm not mad at the comp. Pajemski, I don't know if he's as tall as Reeves. And if you're just going by position, that's fine. 6'4", taller than I thought he was. Reeves is what, like 6'6", I want to say? 6'5". Okay, so no, not bad. I think Reeves just looks lankier. Pajemski a little bigger. But to your point, both of those guys, they have confidence. I am not going to argue with that. Austin Reeves, sky-high confidence. You got to when you're going up against guys like Stephen Curry and you're playing with guys like LeBron James. Same with Pajemski. He's playing with Steph. He's playing with Clay. He's playing with Draymond Green. Three of the best in the business the last decade. You've got to be confident. And Trace Jackson Davis, who was on our show yesterday, not the pregame show, the morning roast with Bonta and Chasky, and you can find that entire interview on YouTube. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. TJD, it's a nice guy. Down to earth, a little bit of a nerd. I like that though. Big Star Wars and Avengers guy, games a lot. Yams on Victor Wembanyama like it's NBD. I mean, it's no big deal. But he said the most confident guy on their team is Brandon Pajemski. And that's crazy. Guy's a rookie. And he's oozing confidence. Now, you know what? I think it's leaked a little bit onto the veterans. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Chris Paul specifically. And again, I was talking about this yesterday. He does not get enough credit for helping these young guys out. I mean, if you're Pajemski coming in the league, obviously Stephen Curry is a great mentor to have. But Chris Paul specifically, being an undersized point guard and being one of the greatest of all time, having gone through multiple iterations and multiple franchises and still contributing and still being a team player like he has been. And for the longest time, our opinion of Chris Paul has been jaded because we've been seeing it through the opponent's lens. But I think it's time we all could say, you know what? Let's give Chris Paul some credit for how he's handled these young guys and shaping them and molding them going forward. And you know what? If Chris Paul doesn't come back next year, his imprint will still be left behind on this team because of what he did with these young guys and help molding them for the future. And you can never take that away. Dare I say forever warrior Chris Paul? Can't believe I'm saying that. March 13th, 2024, after he signed last year, was in June, July, whatever it was, when the sky was falling and I couldn't stop laughing. Steve Kerr talking about Stephen Curry and the Spurs not being a bad team to play without him.
It's also not bad for our team to have to play without him, and you see how guys stepped up last night, and we had a great effort from multiple players. And you know, in the meantime, Steph has played almost every game this year, and in the end, if this week of resting his body actually helps him, you know, as he heals his ankle, the rest of the body is also getting a little bit of a break. He might need that right about now. So this could all turn out, you know, well in the long run, but of course we got to go play Dallas without him tomorrow, which will be really tough the way they're playing.
It's going to be tough, not impossible, but it's going to be tough. If they could win this one, then winning potentially in LA would just be the cherry on top. At the very least, you want to split if Steph's playing Saturday. So if you lose tonight, it's not the end of the world because you're not expected to win, but it'd be a great surprise and a great test, again, like I mentioned, for Podziemski, for Trace Jackson-Davis, for Jonathan Kuminga, all these young guys trying to make their imprint on this veteran-laden team. That's, as Steve Kerr said, primed for a championship run. So, man, I said it was the most wonderful time of the sports year yesterday. And I feel like that is the case still. You know, March Madness is coming up. You got NBA playoff seeding jostling the next month here. Free agency just happened. By the way, the 49ers, we haven't forgotten about them. Matt Barrows, I believe, 8:30, covers the team for The Athletic, joining the Morning Roast. You're not going to want to miss that. Matty Barrows, very insightful. Eric Kendricks, former linebacker with the Los Angeles Chargers, signed a 1-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers. So Eric Kendricks, come on down. Doesn't hurt to have some depth there. Depth is a good thing. That's why you saw the signings of Leonard Floyd, defensive end, drafted by the Chicago Bears, played for the Rams, won a championship there with Aaron Donald and co., and then with the Buffalo Bills last season, and then Yetur Gross-Matos out of Penn State, kind of underachieved with the Panthers, high upside guy, speed, but Eric Kendricks expected to help replace is strong, because Dre Greenlaw, once he's healthy, will come back, but you need some insurance there with Dre and that horrific injury. Still one of the weirdest and freakiest injuries I've ever seen in a championship game. Just exploding onto the field, and then his Achilles literally just gives out. It was like, what the hell just happened? And then watching the NFL films of that just hurt even more. It's just like, oh, his team's gutted for him. Fred Warner getting, emotional about it. And that's his dog, man. I understand. So Eric Kendricks expected to sign a 1-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers last season with the Chargers. Started 14 games. Finished second on the team with 117 tackles. And what does this 49ers linebacking core hang their hat on? It's physicality and tackling and getting to the ball. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, the best in the business at that, the best tandem, and it's not even up for debate anymore. Last year we were talking about Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen potentially being the best tandem. Nope. Patrick Queen signed a 3-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I'm still going Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. Even Dre with a torn Achilles. It's still tandem, damn it. All right? I know he's hurt. It's all right. From the Comcast Business text line, I must have listened to my little rant about presidential candidates and VP nominations. Is Aaron Rodgers going to announce it on the Pat McAfee show? I'm going to be running in the independent party with RFK Jr. We're both immunized. Someone tweeted last night that the New York Jets quarterback pivoting to become vice president of the United States is a Adam Sandler movie that gets a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is true. And then one of the comments was like, yeah, but the audience scored 70%. When I was like, it's so damn true. A lot of the critics like to crap all over the Adam Sandler movies. Hey, if you got a family, you got little kids, Pop that thing on. They get the laugh still. I don't care. I'm a big Adam Sandler guy. Adam Schefter, too, who tweeted about it, who does not have a great relationship with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has let that known multiple times in the past on the Pat McAfee show. But Adam Schefter dropping it yesterday. New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers is on Robert F. Kennedy's Jr.'s, I should say, short list to be his running mate on an independent presidential ticket in November. Oh, God. I just can't wait for November. Am I right, people? Yeah. At least football will be distracting us then. And the 49ers, how are we feeling about them? We can get into that a little bit on the other side. How are we feeling about the Niners right now? Super Bowl's over, people. Get over it. Look to the future. And I still think the future's bright for the 49ers. I mean, is there a team out there that has made a move that has you a little bit concerned? Just a little bit. Well, Brian Baldinger mentioned a player that signed yesterday for an NFC rival that could potentially put them over the top. We'll discuss who that is on the other side. 888-957-9570. Steve Kerr said this team is primed for a run in the playoffs. What say you? Do you agree with that? What would a run look like? What would a good run look like for the Golden State Warriors? 888-957-9570. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does, and is here to help.
exciting activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Dub Nation, this is Tim Roy, and you're listening to the Pregame Show on 95.7 The Game.
Honey, love, ooh, ease my mind. And I need to find time, someone to call mine. My mama said you can't hurry love. No, you'll just have to wait. She said love don't come easy, but it's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love.
Thanks, Tim Roy and Phil Collins.
Just have to wait. Just trust in the good.
It is the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. And no, it is not a Phil Collins Friday, as is tradition here on the pregame show. But I've missed the last 3 Fridays. So you know what? I'm playing it now, damn it. On a Wednesday, on a hump day in the Bay. Good morning to all you lovely people just getting off work, getting ready for work. Got me for another 30 minutes before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky of the Morning Roast. They got a plethora of talent coming onto the show. And no, not as Bonte says, the overnight talent. Although you can ask Anthony Slater, Matt Barrows, and Bob Myers about that if you want. Anthony Slater, 8 o'clock. Matty Barrows, 8:30. Bob Myers, 9. And Bob Myers, potentially in the studio. Bobby, that could be interesting. I wonder how he's viewing this season. I always wonder that. And I know he has no regrets. But seeing the young guys that are producing that really couldn't under their tenure, under his specifically, is he a little envious? Is he a little like, don't believe you did a pretty damn good job. Interesting. Maybe I should have stuck around. Or is he like, yeah, I'm still good. That Jordan Poole situation, Draymond, that was enough for me. Because he's going to get another job again. He's going to work in the NBA in the future again. And when I said another job, I'm not talking about the Washington Commanders being a consultant for them or anything. No. Talking about a legit president of basketball ops job elsewhere. Is that going to be with the Clippers? Could it be with the Lakers in the future? Could it be one of those LA squads? Obviously, going to UCLA, he has ties down there. So, very interested in that. Also, another thing I'm interested in Bob talking about is kind of, the business of sports and the negotiating tactics with the player like Jonathan Kuminga coming up. Hell, you can even tie it to a guy like Brandon Ayuk because he now is in the NFL realm. I'm not saying he's doing contracts for Adam Peters or anything like that. No. But that whole negotiation and players scrubbing their social, all that sort of stuff, does that matter? Some just little nuanced stuff like that he can give insight to. And then obviously, could this team make a run? Steve Kerr re-signing. Stephen Curry, would he vote for him for president? I'm sure he said it in the past that he would. By the way, yeah, if you're just joining us, Stephen Curry, not ruling out a presidential run in the future. He was on with the CBS morning show with Nate Burleson, amongst others. And he was talking to him and just talking about, he wants to help people. That's his whole platform, helping people. You know what? Not the worst thing I've ever heard, because it seems like a couple parties are like helping a particular group of people when we should be helping everyone. I'm not trying to get political here or anything like that, but I don't think there's anything political about saying I want to help people. When did that become a hot take? I want everyone to be okay. Yeah, but it should be the people that are here first. And I was like, shut the hell up. God, if you're going to have a problem about helping people, then you're the problem. Right? And I don't want to help you. There's that. Steve Kerr. His team's primed for a good run.
I just feel like, the season it's long. It really is a marathon, and you're going to have stretches in both directions. During the season, things either go well or they don't. And I feel really strongly that our team is primed if we can, really stay healthy here down the stretch, get Steph back and stay healthy from there. I feel like we can make a really good run, and you never know what happens. If you do that, you could end up in a good spot and set you up for a good playoff run.
Well, the two teams that I was a little bit hesitant on giving the Warriors an edge over in a given series, they've gotten weaker. And we'll wait and see with Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. That was the one that, if they matched up against the Clippers in the playoffs, and right now as we look at the NBA standings, Clippers are the 4th spot. So that was a tough loss for them yesterday. They had a 20-point lead against Minnesota. Minnesota roars all the way back. So now they're only a half game back from the top spot in the West. They're jostling for position up there. Got the Thunder at the top, Nuggets, both at 45 and 20, then T-Wolves and Clippers, Pelicans at the 5, Suns at that crucial 6th spot, staying out of the play-in tournament. So tough loss there for the Clippers, but if they lost Kawhi Leonard, then it's just another thing. And I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. They got to show it in the playoffs, man. They do, and they have just shown an inability to stay healthy, and that's kept them back. It really has. And is that Kawhi shouldering too much of a load? I can't say that because Paul George is there. You got James Harden. I know Westbrook's hurt. He's expected to come back before the playoffs, potentially. So just another team. Keep an eye on if the Warriors get matched up or if they make a run. If you get matched up against the Clippers, no Kawhi. I like the Warriors in that. Timberwolves, no Karl Anthony Towns. I like the Warriors. Might be tough, but I'll give the edge to Stephen Curry if he is healthy. Nuggets, would like to stay away from them. Thunder, the Warriors can beat in a series. Like all those 3 teams I just mentioned, goes same for the Lakers matching up against them or the Mavericks. Hell, the Kings. Like outside of the Denver Nuggets, you can't go into the playoffs thinking, you know what? This team and this team are primed for a Western Conference Finals, right? It's just one. Like if the Nuggets don't make the conference finals, I think it would be a massive, oh bleep. We can do this thing for all the other teams. If I'm the Mavericks, if I'm the Lakers, the Warriors, the Suns are the one. I keep seeing them. A lot of people are talking about it. I see them on ESPN. Everyone's talking about the Suns. Should that be the number one team the Nuggets fear in the West? The Phoenix Suns? You're going to show me. You're going to show everyone. Last time we saw the Nuggets and the Suns in the playoffs, what happened? I think Shasky was at that game. I think they got destroyed by 40 points or 30 points. And the Chris Paul meme where Chris Paul hits a huge three-pointer to cut the lead to 30. Right? So there's no one on that team's level. But in the playoffs, weird things can happen. If the Nuggets get upset, that opens the door up for anyone. And particularly the Warriors to potentially make a run to the championship. Now, winning the championship is another thing, but again, the East, I don't know. Does anyone fear the Boston Celtics? No. Do you fear the Milwaukee Bucks? No. The Miami Heat? No. I don't fear anyone in the East. The one team that strikes fear into my soul are the Denver Nuggets, because Nikola Jokic is about to win his 3rd MVP in the last 4 years. He's the best player on the planet. Oh, by the way, Jamal Murray might be the most underrated player in all of sports. He's just the 2nd best player on a reigning championship team that is looking to go back-to-back and are the favorites to do so. And no one talks about him. Hell, we talk about Aaron Gordon because he is a San Jose guy more than we talk about Jamal Murray. We talk about Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Never mention Jamal Murray. Why is that? We talk about the best point guard. Did he even make the All-Star team this year, Jamal Murray? I don't think he did. Now, injuries might have a part to play in that, but that's pretty crazy. Just pulling up his stats this season. Averaging 21 points, nearly 50% from the field, 6 assists. I mean, guy's been a baller. Shoots well from the free throw line. So, That's the one team. If you could avoid playing them until later, and then maybe they get upset. That's the hope. And a little luck has to go your way. It always does. Luck be a lady tonight. Am I right? Same for the Warriors. Always. You go back to that run a couple years ago and their fourth title for Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Steve Kerr, Draymond Green. There was some luck involved. They played the Denver Nuggets, no Jamal Murray in opening round. They played the Memphis Grizzlies and John Morant gets hurt, is what it is. They played a Mavericks team that was basically Luka Doncic and who else? Now, they had a major test against the Boston Celtics, and that takes nothing away from that championship run. Nothing away from it. You could blame, the Lakers. Oh, they got it easy in that bubble run, didn't they? Oh, it was a bubble. It doesn't really count. It's like, okay, you got to get a little bit of lucky. That's what happens. You go back to Warriors runs in the past. Luck has to be involved. Game 6 Clay, that's not luck, that's skill, obviously, but they were down 3-1. They came roaring back. The Cavs got lucky that, Draymond Green had a lot of technicals. He got bounced out. Now, if that's not what you would call luck, that would call collusion or just boneheadery, okay. But it was kind of a fluky thing is what I'm saying. Like who had that on their bingo card in, what was that, Game 5 of the NBA Finals back in 2016? I didn't. I definitely did not. So 888-957-9570. On the other side, more Warriors, more Niners. Bob Myers, 9 o'clock. Anthony Slater, 8. Matty Barrows, 8:30. So they're touching everything coming up here on the Morning Roast. But one more second of the pregame show before handing it off to them right here on 95.7 The Game.
Get a first look at spring savings during our SpringFest sneak peek event at Lowe's.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. One more segment here before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, the morning roast. Again, they got Bob Myers, former president of basketball operations with the Golden State Warriors, four-time champ with the organization. One of the great people in Bay Area sports history. Yeah, I say he wasn't an athlete, but as far as an interview goes, Bob was one of the best. I mean, it's no wonder he's doing great at his new job at ESPN, being an analyst for them. So the guys will talk to him at 9 o'clock. Ask him, about that transition to becoming an analyst. It seems pretty seamless for him because he's just so damn personable. Like, I could talk about anything and I kind of listen to it. He's just one of those guys. But there is an art and there is nuance to it to not be a hot takey guy. And he's not. That's not who he is. I was listening, what was it, like last week or 2 weeks ago? He was talking to Stephen A. And they were talking about the greatness of like LeBron James, and Stephen A saying is, one of the greatest ever. And Bob basically said, he's like, hey, and it was like a humble brag, but he was kind of right. He's like, we'd probably be talking to him about him as the greatest ever, if not for what we did against him and kind of holding him from winning more titles. And Stephen A got all Stephen A'd about it. And it's just, all right. But he was right. Like, the Warriors and LeBron James are going to always be tied together. And a lot of Warriors fans are hoping that this summer as well. I know Steiny was talking about it a couple days ago. He's not ruling it out. We'll see. Although LeBron missing that game, when was it, against the Bucks last Friday when the Lakers beat him. And he's sitting next to Mrs. Rambis and Jeannie Buss. And she was just like hugging all on him. And it was just like LeBron had the shades on. He was feeling good. I have a hard time thinking he's going to leave the Lakers. They'll probably give him, that Kobe deal that he had late in his career. He's just like, I'm just going to get paid, is what it is. And listen, the player that LeBron is now is not the player that Kobe was then post Achilles injury. Not even close. LeBron, still at 39, is one of the top 10 players in the league right now, which is crazy to say. Is LeBron going to be a first-team All-Pro? I mean, he might be All-NBA. Sorry, you know what I mean. Relax. Speaking of All-Pro and 49ers and free agency, again, if you're just joining us, Eric Kendricks expected to sign with the San Francisco 49er, former Los Angeles Chargers linebacker. Last season, finished second on the team with 117 tackles. Needs some insurance with Dre Greenlaw being out for a good portion of the season, we would expect, after tearing his Achilles in the Super Bowl. So Eric Kendricks come on down. Leonard Floyd, obviously that signing expected to occur. Yetur Gross-Matos of the Carolina Panthers expected to come over as well. So adding some depth, adding some security to a defense that was one of the best in the NFL last year. I know we don't like to say that, but they were. Oh, Steve Wilkes, it was his fault. Well, we'll see. Nick Sorensen, come on down. Speaking of that, here's Brian Baldinger talking about 49ers hiring Sorensen as their defensive coordinator and moving on from Wilkes.
He's never called plays before, and that's always a big step up. I thought things would go south with Coach Wilkes the way they did, just some of the things. I just didn't think he was a great blitzer. I didn't think he had great design. I didn't think he had great disguise in his blitzes. And I thought Patrick Mahomes ripped him apart the way the Minnesota Vikings did at the end of the first half in that loss to the Vikings. Right. So I think what you're looking for, like Spags still catches you completely off guard with what he does and how he does it and where they come from. And I think you can have a philosophy, you can have a game plan week to week. The Rams are obviously significantly different than the Eagles. Whatever. You can do all those things during the week. What can you do during the game? And not everybody can do it.
It's a great point, Brian Baldinger, yesterday on the Morning Roast. Find that entire interview on YouTube. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. Also download the Odyssey app, favorite 95.7 The Game. You can find that entire interview there as well as every single show after it's done. You can find this one. You can find the Morning Roast, Steiny Goo, Willard Dibbs, all of it. Warriors This Week, Warriors Live, Warriors Postgame, all that right there on that Odyssey app. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. Bring that thing everywhere, man. I do it. Hey, when I'm down in Monterey Peninsula and we don't have that FM signal that reaches down there, just pull that up. I'm chilling, listening, stay tapped in. But Baldy, talking right there, in-game adjustments is going to be a massive thing for this team. It's what's hurt them both offensively and defensively at times in the biggest games of Kyle Shanahan's career. Super Bowl. Who adjusted better in both of those games? The Chiefs. Play man coverage. Sticky. They try to go zone early. Brock Purdy was killing them. You know what? He said, well, this isn't working. Steve Spagnuolo adjusted. So not only did he take down the greatest offense I think I've ever seen in that 07 Patriots team, and he had the dudes to do it up front, obviously. Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan, Jason Pierre-Paul, O.C. Umanura, all those guys. Antonio Pierce in the linebacking core. But then he goes on, and this Niners team, if you're going by DVOA, which I know the afternoon show liked to bring up a lot. If you're going by DVOA, and this really does say what are the greatest teams of all time. I forget what it stands for. Let me pull it up. DVOA, meaning NFL. Defense adjusted value over average. There you go. Calculates a team's success based on the down and distance of each play during the season, then calculates how much more or less successful each team is compared to league average. There you go. It's a method of evaluating teams, units, or players, basically. And the 49ers had one of the highest this season DVOAs since the inception of this stat or calculation, whatever the hell you want to call it. Doesn't mean jack to Steve Spagnuolo. He saw what was happening in real time and adjusted on the fly. And his dudes made more plays than the other team. And I'm not here to poo-poo on DVOA or analytics or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying in a given game, analytics can only go so far. You got to use the eyeballs and you got to lean on experience. And there is no one more experienced than Steve Spagnuolo. So much so, that's why Kyle Shanahan tried to hire him and snatch him away from Kansas City. There was a report a couple weeks ago about the Niners trying to bring in the longtime Chiefs defensive coordinator. He passed. He got paid. He's staying in Kansas City for the foreseeable future, and it's a great gig. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Chris Jones now. You're chilling. Oh, and by the way, I guess Keenan Allen's expected to be waived. Mike Williams potentially getting cut from the Chargers. I could see either one of them. Hell, both. Come on down. You guys want to win a ring real quick? Come on over. And you can get revenge on your team twice a year. That would sting if you're a Chargers fan. Keenan Allen. Oh. Cal legend. More from Baldy here, talking about the additions of Leonard Floyd and him being a, quote, big upgrade for the Niners.
I mean, it's a big upgrade over Cleveland Farrell and Chase Young. And, it's been a while since they had a guy, that could really, win one-on-ones and keep the quarterback kind of hurried and affect the quarterback. I mean, Leonard's, he's a rangy guy. He's won in the postseason. He's a guy that you got to pay attention to. So I think it's a big upgrade over what they put out there on the field a year ago.
That's a great point. Winning the one-on-one matchups. We saw Chase Young not doing that nearly enough. And Chase Young, it's basically kick rocks to you now. He has meetings with the Saints, I believe the Panthers and the Titans lined up. I think the Niners are good off of the Chase Young, who had a good Super Bowl. He did. Chase Young was everywhere. He was flying. But that was one game. And when you're signing these guys to long-term commitments, whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years, and you're paying these guys what you're paying them, you expect week in and week out the effort to match. And far too often with Chase Young, and hell, we found that out when, name escapes me, but our guy over on our sister station out in D.C. joined the morning roast. And he was basically saying, Chase Young, he can play well at times, but far too often he fades away. Far too often you're looking to find him. He'll show flashes, but he's not that dude. And we found that out. Leonard Floyd, he'll get one-on-one matchups because on the other side, Nick Bosa is going to be getting double teamed. He's going to be getting chipped, and there's going to be opportunities for him. And they need to capitalize. And Leonard Floyd's the guy to do that. The other guys that are known to capitalize when their shot is called is Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. They're up next. Morning Roast, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Unraveling life's mysteries. At Stanford Medicine, it's in our DNA. Every day, our world-class School of Medicine and adult and children's health systems work together, expanding what we know and sharing what we discover to make breakthroughs both possible